Have you been dealing with some artist block, or maybe you just want to find a fun, inspirational gift for the artist in your life? It's okay if the artist in your life is you. Well, if so, this is the video for you. Hi, Shanna Rowe Jackson here from Caution Artists at Play. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 fun inspirational items that can help you get your creative juices flowing. And this is a huge variety here, everything from giving you prompts for your artwork to color schemes, to fun little activities that you can do that are creative. And I just love it. I've been kind of collecting these things over the years, and it's just a great way to get out of your creative funk and find new ways to create, and even just help you come up with new ideas for your next masterpiece. And so let's get to it. I do want to mention that if you are somebody who's on a budget or you're on a no buy right now and you don't want to buy any new items, please stay tuned to the end, because I do have a bonus item that is a do-it-yourself item that you can do it for very little money right at home. It will still kind of give you that same inspiration, and you can use it for years to come. All right, so let's get to it because I have a ton to talk about here. Okay, so starting off, I thought it would be fun to start with something with a very fitting title, and that is Art Unblocks. And what this is a fun little set of dice that gives you art prompts. There's 4 in here, and one of them kind of talks about the mood, so happy, moody, restless. One talks about like the kind of artwork, so the subject, figure, still life, landscape, animal. One of them has the medium, so graphite, pastels, oil, ink, digital. I don't do a lot of digital art, so whenever I roll that one, I pretend it says colored pencil because it doesn't have a colored pencil option on here, and I love colored pencil. So you can obviously like change things around as you see fit. And then this one deals with pattern, balance, emphasis, scale, contrast, movement. So they're just like super fun, and you can roll them all to get an idea, or you can roll just a couple, maybe even one, like if you're like, I don't know what medium I want to use today. Oh, guess I'm using graphite. You know, something like that. So this is really simple and fun. I got these on Etsy. There are other similar products out there like that on Amazon and stuff like that as well. And I should mention, I will link everything in the description below so that if you do see an item you love, you can just grab the link below. And this video is not sponsored by any of the companies mentioned, but super, super fun. Great sketchbook activity. Highly recommend. And they're beautiful. They're so pretty and really good quality. And so, yep. Okay, so the next thing you have probably seen multiple times on my channel. And this is the paint chip poetry game. Now, I should mention that most of these things come with some sort of directions. And you can use the directions if you want, or you can be creative and come up with your own way to use these items. This could be used as a writing prompt or as an art prompt, or both. And there are a lot of different kinds of prompt products out there that are made for writing, but also cross over to the art realm. And so I like to write as well, but I don't know. This is so colorful and so fun. And basically, like, there is an actual game and you can play the game itself, but that's not how I use it. So I'm just going to tell you how I use it. I typically pick a few cards and use them as a color scheme. And I also like to use the writing that's on the card as a prompt as well. I've done a couple of sketchbooks or sketchbook spreads this way. And they're all just a bunch of colors. It's a bunch of paint chips, basically. Now, if you want a budget-friendly way to do this, you could probably just go to a store that sells paint, get some paint chips, write random words on them, and use them yourself like that. This I just thought was a lot of fun, and I don't know. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And it also has actual specific prompts, what the world needs. So sometimes I will grab one of these prompt cards, grab a few colors here, and then I'll use whatever colors I am given and use those words as well as prompts. But you can use it any way that you feel comfortable. You could just pull one of these cards and draw from that. Or you could just pull one of these and do a one color challenge and not even worry about the word that's on it. It's really up to you. The whole point of this video is to show you just fun products that you can use in any way that you see fit to help you find inspiration. So whatever inspires you, do it that way. Again, you don't have to follow the directions. I've never actually played this as a game, so I don't even remember the directions. But you can play it with other people too. So if you have other creative friends in your circle, feel free to play the actual game. Use it any way you need to. Okay, so the next couple things I just want to say, these kind of involve a little bit of spirituality and magic, and if that's not your jam, that's just fine. You can kind of skip forward to this timestamp that I'm going to pop up on the screen. And yeah, the next two things are very similar, but one deals more with finding inspiration from famous artists, and the other one is more of finding internal inspiration. And so the first one I want to show you is the Art Oracles deck. I got this just recently, actually. My husband and I went to the Portland Museum of Art in Portland, Maine, and this was in the gift shop, and I just thought it was so rad. I had to get it. So basically, it is creative and life inspiration from the great artists, and it is set up like an oracle deck. So you can, if you are into spirituality and you want to use it as an oracle deck, you can do it that way. But basically, each card has something inspired from the artist on it. So something inspired by their life, by their work, and then just general inspiration. And so it's really, really neat. You learn a lot about the artist as well, because if you draw the card, you can find the artist in here and it will tell you a little bit about them. And I don't know. I just think it is so cool. Like I said, you can use it like a regular oracle deck where you do a layout, or you can just grab a card and find some inspiration. Even if it doesn't prompt you to create that day, it is a nice way to be inspired by the artists that came before us. And so basically, you just look at a card and learn a little bit about an artist and maybe take that back to your own work. Like this guy, Caravaggio. Try to keep violence metaphorical. Adjust your eyes to darkness. Head on the shoulders is worth two in the hand. That one's a little bit creepier than I expected. I apologize for that. That is not, that's not the type of inspiration I'm necessarily going for, but you're going to find like less dark inspiration. Of course, it depends on the artist that they pull, because you know, artists have some rich history and some of them were very eccentric. I think we all know that as fellow artists. You know that there's a big stigma about artists being eccentric, and some of these people are why. So, and that one was an example. And of course, we got Dali, Titian, Van Gogh. If committed, stay committed. Oh man, but I do really enjoy this because I love learning about other artists, and it's just really fun to find inspiration from them and to take, you know, some symbology maybe from their own work and put it into your own. There's multiple ways to be inspired by this deck, and it's also just a fun novelty gift item to have in the studio. So I absolutely love it, and yeah, there's my recommendation for that one, albeit with a little bit of a creepy tangent thrown in there when we pulled that card. That was interesting. Okay, so the next one is also a similar kind of theme, and this one is Art Magic. It's an inspiration deck for creativity. So this one is a little bit closer to like a regular oracle deck, but definitely more inspirational. So if you're somebody who is into magic and spirituality, and you know, if you're somebody who creates a lot of surrealism or something like that, this is definitely a great deck for that. But it also talks a lot about art. It talks about the meaning behind different colors. So the booklet is really useful as well. And it's just a great way to get inspired by the elements and kind of find your own inner inspiration. So like incubate your dreams. And the thing that I love, oh my gosh, these are so colorful. It's like in rainbow order. And I have to say, if you are not somebody who is spiritual, that is fine. You don't have to use these in that way. These can plain and simply be really pretty, colorful cards that give you inspiration for artwork. So again, it comes down to your intention and what you want to use something for. None of these items have to be used the way that they were originally intended. Any way that you find inspiration is perfectly fine. But honor days of personal power. It's kind of like, it's a good way to find inspiration for yourself as well as your art. So this one is just beautiful. It's lovely. I'm excited about it. This is also fairly new. I haven't had the chance to fully dive into it yet, but I wanted to share it with you. Also, please let me know in the comments below if there's anything here that you would like me to do a specific video on, because I can do that as well. A couple of these things I already have in the past, but if you want to see me zoom in on a specific item and do an activity from one of these items, please let me know. And I likely will anyways at some point, but okay. So this one is the Color Meditation Deck by Lisa Solomon. A lot of you have probably seen this online already because this one is very, very art inspired, very watercolor inspired, and it is beautiful. I just love this. I got this at the same time as I got my Art Magic deck, and I'm so excited about both. This one has a nice booklet in it as well. And basically how to use this deck. First things first, each color meditation you do, make sure you set yourself up for success. Get your paint out, get ready to rumble. No, that's not what that part says, but you know what I'm saying. But basically, these ones are beautiful because they have, I just love this box. I can't even handle how beautiful this box is. This also teaches about art. Any one of these items would be a great gift item for a budding artist in your life because a lot of them have some sort of lesson involved or some sort of activity that is good for beginners, but it's also great for experienced artists as well. So basically anything here, artists of all ages can use for the most part. I say of all ages, obviously not little children, but like I should say artists of all levels. But because this one, it also talks about color schemes, and you can get inspired from either side of the deck or either side of the card. Basically, like it'll give you like a fun activity to do a single brush mark, but you can also draw inspiration from the patterns that are on the other side as well. So it's just a really fun deck to help you get out of a creative funk, as I keep saying, and play around with your watercolors. But I think that you could probably do some of these things with other mediums as well. But I've been really into watercolor lately, and so that's gotten me inspired, like drips. Sometimes color meditation is about letting go of control. I love that I can't fully control what happens when playing with drips. So it's kind of a fun way to do some loose artwork and to be just more about the process and enjoying the process and meditative with your artwork as opposed to the creative outcome. You, of course, could probably use these techniques in an artwork that you do want to be aesthetically pleasing, but it's also a great way to just let go, play in your sketchbook, play with your watercolors, and just be in the zone and in the flow, so to speak. Okay, so this one is a lot of fun. This one is called Color Astrology. What your birthday color says about you. I love this. It is like a big book of paint chips, but if you are into astrology or if you just want something fun to do with you and your friends, you can look up your birthdays and see what your color is, see how the color affects you, and it will talk about your compatible like birthdays and things like that. The way I like to use this is I have chosen the birthdays of people that I'm close with. I have a fun little pumpkin illustration that I did with me and my sister's birthdays. So I basically go through, find the birthdays of the people that I love, and then use an illustration with these colors to represent. Or you can just think of significant days in your life and like say your wedding anniversary, the birth of your first child, your graduation date, something like that. Grab the colors from those and create a fun inspirational piece out of those colors. And kind of do maybe like a 3-color challenge. That's what I do with me and my sisters. I kind of made it into a 3-color challenge. Or multiple colors. Or you could just look, you know, it shows like a lot of the birthdays on here. You can even check. See, there's me. I love that color too. So that actually is really fitting because I love that color. Yeah, so there's multiple ways that you can use this. And you can use it in other ways in your life as well, because it, you know, it says this personal color reminds you of your creative and innovative spirit. Wearing, meditating on, or surrounding yourself with this color appeals to the spiritual side of your nature. It generates courage and optimism and assists you in reaching your goals with a strong sense of peace and accomplishment. And that's March 4th. So like you can use this book in other ways in your life to kind of help spur your creativity in the clothing you wear, the colors you surround yourself with, things like that. I just think it's a really neat book that's not necessarily intended for artists, but can definitely be used in multiple ways by artists. The next item is something that you probably have all seen on YouTube, and that is the Color Cubes by Sarah Renee Clark. She's another YouTube artist, and these are just a fantastic tool. This is probably the priciest thing in the video, but you don't have to buy both. You can buy both in a bundle, or you can buy each separately, or you can just get the online version. And so it's a very versatile thing. I like having the physical product. I just think it is so beautiful, but basically, they're like recipe cards for artists. They have fun color schemes on them. So if you are stuck and you don't know what you want to create, you can actually draw from the picture that's on there, because these are royalty-free photos. Or you can just use the color scheme for your own illustration or drawing, or as inspiration for your next artwork. They're just beautiful. I absolutely love them. I have a video on this as well where I colored in a coloring book page, but it's great. You can just pull a card if you want and play in your sketchbook with those colors, or as I said, use the image for inspiration for your artwork. But I will link any of the videos that involve these items that I've already, you know, done videos on. I'll link those videos in the description below as well. And yeah, definitely highly recommend this product if you have the money, but it's understandable if you don't. Again, this is a similar situation where you can go to a hardware store and get some fun, like little just paint chips or whatever and do something similar. However, like, this is supporting another artist, and it's beautiful. It's a great novelty gift to have, great gift item for somebody else, and definitely a wonderful resource, especially if you are somebody who also needs some photo references as well. We all know that coloring books are a great way to get out of a creative funk with very low pressure, right? A lot of the work is done for you already, but there's something new that's been trending that is called the reverse coloring book. And so that's what we're going to talk about now. This is also a fun and creative way to do something different with a very low pressure. I'm sure if you are on the art side of YouTube right now, you have heard of these books. They're all over the place. A lot of artists have been drawing in them. And basically, the reverse coloring book might be a little bit more challenging than a regular coloring book, because it flips it on its head. And basically, instead of doing the coloring, you are going to be doing the drawing. But it's still very low pressure because a lot of it is very abstract. But basically, you have these beautiful watercolory kinds of illustrations here that don't have outlines. And it's kind of like the blob challenge that a lot of people were doing on YouTube a few years ago, where you just do a blob of color and then you find what that shape really looks like to you, and you draw it. Now, this one is a little bit more obvious. This is like a lotus flower, but there are some that are a lot more abstract that forces you to use your imagination. And again, it's just a fun and creative way to make something without any pressure and without wanting to create some sort of masterpiece or something to sell. It's just a way to be in the zone, be creative, and, almost meditate with creativity. So I just got this recently. I haven't really done anything in it yet. If you would like to see me do a video with this, let me know. But I thought I'd recommend this one. There's the other one. I don't think this is her first one. I think there's another one that I've seen on YouTube a lot more, but I loved the colors in this one. And I really loved kind of the themes that are going on. They just fit me a little bit better than the other books that are out there. But there are multiple books out there now. And this author, Kendra Norton, has multiple books in general, and then there's a few others that I saw online that are similar theme. But yeah, lots of fun. Definitely can't wait to dive into that. This next book I have had for eons. And you can tell, actually, like a smoothie or something got spilled on it years ago, like over a decade ago. I have had this book for so long. And no, it is not filled. It's 642 things to draw. So this is when you're like, I don't know what I want to draw, but I feel like drawing. You just come to this book and you draw what it tells you to draw. I have quite a few in here. This is just like a crayon. Let's see. A balloon. I know I have some in here that I actually really like. There's one page that I did like the most of the page of. Oh, I got some broccoli. So basically you just come, I like to do it with ballpoint pen because you can be colorful and do some shading. But yeah, French fries, a butterfly, it's not my best work, right? But that's not what I was here to do. It is a place to get creative, again, with no expectations. And it's a great way to practice things that you don't necessarily normally draw, or even some things that you would normally draw, but you don't know where to start. Just a good, fun practice place. It's kind of like a smooth paper, so I feel like the ballpoint pen works really well on it. I did do some in pencil at one point, but it does smudge a lot, so I switched to ballpoint pen. But as you can see, I haven't used it nearly as much as I should. Cupcake. There's a few in here, though, that I really did like, that I was surprised about, because I don't often use references, but occasionally I will when I'm working in here. So, like, you can see, like, some of them are better than others. Like, these ones, these were, like, quick, like, 5-second drawings. Whereas, you know, that one as well, some of them took a little bit longer. But yeah, this is a, oh, here we go. I love this one. This is one of my all-time favorites. I think I did use a reference for that one, but that was a lot of fun. So, just a fun way, and I think that there's other companies that make very similar books, too. It's not just this one. But, you know, when you get a new sketchbook, it's blank, and you're expected to come up with the ideas yourself. At least with this one, it gives you the ideas, and it's good practice. And you might draw something and be like, wow, I really love that, and then go into your sketchbook or go into a painting and take that subject to that painting and draw it again. Okay, so the next book is something that is all about activities, and that is the Essential Art Therapy Exercises book. And I got this because I thought it would be a great way. I do a lot of realism, as you know, and I love my realism work. I enjoy my realism work. To me, it is therapeutic to do realism. This has something on it, too. Oh, my cat chewed on the edge of it when I first got it. But there are times when I put a lot of pressure on myself because of perfectionism. And so I have been kind of diving into the idea of doing art for the art's sake, which is what most of these products are about. It's just about getting creative and getting out of your comfort zone and just creating. And so that led me to looking more into art therapy as well, because I love art and it feeds my soul, and I want to find other ways that it could also feed my soul without me feeling the pressure of having to create something perfect. And so that's what led me to getting this book. Now, this one has all kinds of different ways to get creative and just fun ideas. Like you could just flip to something, and you could use these ideas to create something that is a finished piece that you plan to sell, or you can just use this book to come up with ideas to help you just feed your soul through creativity. And some of these are things that are just like creative ways to think of ideas, like Pinterest mood boards. So instead of like it actually being an actual project, it kind of gives you the suggestions of creating a mood board, so that way there you can use that as inspiration for future artwork and things like that. And it goes through, it has digital and photos. So let's see, there's different chapters. So there's painting and drawing, digital and photos, sculpting and textiles, writing, collages. So it's not just regular visual art. It also talks about writing. It talks about how to make masks. So there's just like a lot of fun things that you can do here. And you can do these activities with other people as well. It's just beautiful. Painting a mandala. I can never say that right. Mandala. Family drawing. And again, these are things like, even if you draw a picture of your family, like it doesn't need to be perfect, right? We're just here to create. So that is my number 10. Let's talk about my bonus tip. And that is, if you are somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, you can create your own inspiration box. So some of you have probably seen this on my channel before, because I actually created this on the channel. It's been a couple of years now. But basically, I took this old canvas box that I had. I feel like it was probably one of those gift boxes that had like soaps and like body wash and body scrub, whatever. The stuff that, you know, those bath sets that you get. It was just like a plain like canvasy box, and I used my airbrush and my paints, and I put an inspirational saying on it, and I painted it up all pretty to make it feel inspirational. And then inside, I basically, anytime I have an idea that I don't have time for, or I just think of something like spur of the moment, I write it down and I can throw it in here so that I can pull it out later. So that's one of the ways I use it. And another way is I have cut up different words from magazines and thrown them in, or pictures of things from magazines and thrown them in as inspiration, or just like fun challenges. I'll just write down like 3-color challenge. So if I'm on a day, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I just come in here, I grab something, and I do what this tells me. I actually did one of my really fun fairy drawings from prompts that I got in here, and it's one of my favorite pieces. And so it's just a fun way to be creative, and the box itself is creative. Like this one, oh, this actually, I kept them together. These were the prompts for that fairy drawing. I kind of did a little sketch after, or I should say before I got to it, because the prompt was like moss and fairy and rock or something like that. But yeah, so basically you can grab as little or as many as you want. I just write words sometimes and throw them in here, or I write a medium. But yeah, so if you are, you know, having artist block or something like that, or say you're actually feeling really inspired right now, this might be a good time to make an inspiration box for later. Because a lot of times we come up with a million ideas but don't get the chance to do them, and so it's a great place to put it. But also it's a great do-it-yourself project. You can also take like an old box of chocolates and redo it and do the same thing to make a keepsake box. I did that for my dad before. He gets me like a box of chocolates every year for Christmas and for my birthday and things like that. So I actually took one of those old boxes and redid it and put photos of us in it and gave it back to him for Father's Day. So my whole point to that is saying, like, it doesn't have to be a box like this. It could be an old shoebox. You just pretty it up and throw some ideas in it for a rainy day so that when you are feeling uninspired, you can draw from that box and come up with a fun, creative artwork done from those prompts. All right, so that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found these products to be as delightful as I do, and I hope that you have a very inspired day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.